It is time we start our first themed area here at Spud Park. Yes! Welcome to episode 3 of Spud Park here on Spuds and Coasters. Today, we are constructing Ragnarok, of which is our Viking themed area, of which was announced in episode 2. Today, to get underway with the episode, we are fencing off and decorating the side of the areas closer to the entrance portal. This was through foliage and various plants. By the way, you may have seen I did create a promotional poster for the area, and let me know if you'd like to see me do that for each area as I progress. I would also like to extend a huge thank you to you guys once again. The recent support you have shown is sensational, and in no way did I expect it this quickly, so thank you so much. Anyway, now that the planting was done on one side, I began to do it for the other side as well, because you know, symmetry and all that. And by the way, make sure to stay tuned, as soon I will reveal the model of the first roller coaster in the park. However, you may have already guessed it by looking at the promotional poster. Laying out the path now, and in the centre of this here roundabout type thing, I wanted to make a windmill because the windmill theming pieces we have in this game are actually really good. And I'm very happy to now reveal the first roller coaster at this park. And this will be a Gravity Group Family Woody. This would be inspired by rides like Timber at Wallaby Roan-Alps or Oscar's Wacky Taxi at Sesame Place. I love the idea of a family wooden coaster with some bite to it, meaning the whole family can enjoy this experience. Also, comment below what you want to see in this park. I would love to see what you like and what you want to see. Of course, if one of your suggestions does become a reality, full credit will be displayed in my videos and the park tour at the end of this project. Back to the coaster, this would not be taller than 70 feet, and yet I wanted to guarantee that this ride featured enough airtime moments to make everyone have fun without losing their lunch. The layout for this Gravity Group roller coaster will begin with a turn out of the station into that 58-foot tall lift hill. This will be followed by a fairly steep drop for the model into that big turnaround. Following this will be a double down, which I believe is a first for the model. However, if I'm wrong, please correct me in the comments. Then there will be a banked, twisted double up, or whatever you want to call that. Following this will be another drop into a turnaround, then into an airtime hill, into another turnaround, would you believe it? Then it's 2 more airtime hills, finishing with a banked turn into the brake run. It's definitely not a lengthy attraction, but let's face it, the best coasters on Earth don't necessarily have to be the longest. A key Planet Coaster tip I want to share with you all is to build your brake runs before finishing the layout for your coaster. So make sure to try it out next time you build a coaster, as I genuinely find this such a handy tip. And there I was, finishing the layout of the park's first roller coaster. I'm really glad it came out the way it did, as I feel like it had the right balance of airtime without coming across as repetitive, but that might be me. I then proceeded to colour the track off camera after I smoothed it all out, and if you want to know the hex codes for these colours, I'll put them in the description, as I genuinely think they look great. In terms of theming, I decided to keep it simple on the layout itself, with the drop after the twisted double up thing to appear as if it's going down rocks. I knew that I wanted the guests to see this in the queue, so this doubled as a good focal point when building the queue line later on in this episode. Have you enjoyed the video so far? If you have, please like and subscribe so you don't miss when I upload episode 4, where there are a few surprise announcements being made in regards to Spud Park's future. In terms of theming majority of the layout, it's my best mate in the game, trees and bushes, if you haven't realised already. And now, it's time for the big announcement for this episode. I'm letting you, the viewers of my channel, choose the name for this roller coaster. If you want to submit an entry, comment it below and I'll have a look. As you may see, I do have placeholder names right now, and these will be kept if there are no entries, but they are bound to change. Good luck! One thing that I tend to struggle with in this game is being able to theme coasters like this. However, with perseverance, you can achieve amazing creations. I mean, look at some creators like Nerd Chat Show and Moomin Little Socks. By the way, if you want to see more of this project, check out the Spud Park playlist on my channel. All episodes will be on there and will be consistently updated as I progress through the series, so go check it out. Now that our gravity group is done, I began to theme out the beginning of the area itself. I started with simply fencing off the windmill with the intentions of working on it later, but the priority for me at this point was to construct the station for our wooden roller coaster. I wanted this to resemble a relatively ordinary Viking building to make sure that it doesn't stick out and to keep the aesthetic flowing from the guest's perspective. I also tried something I've never tried before in this game, and that was applying a roof trim. I have nothing to base it off though, being my first time, so what do you think of it? Let me know in the comments section below. Another thing I would like to mention is that I did leave the interior bare of the stations for the Woody during the filming of these recordings, as you will see that there are some elements of surprise I will save for the grand tour of Spud Park sometime in 2027. So make sure you stay tuned to see any other hidden surprises for future episodes, as who knows, I might surprise you all with some teasers before the aforementioned time. Now that the base was finished and the roof trim was something, I started work on actually decorating the exterior of this ride station. This was just going to be the standard Viking windows with a sign with the ride's name on it, with the current placeholder being Odin. Throughout this series, you'll probably notice that I do go back and change things a lot, but hey, it's all a work in progress. My personal favourite thing to do in this game in terms of thematics is the exterior of buildings, so naturally I did pay very close attention to how this building would look. Using the tools at my disposal, I ploughed through challenges and managed to settle on what I would call a surprisingly decent exterior for a station building. Also, I would like to say that I am bound to get better at this game the further I play on through the series, and that will probably be represented. So, who knows, maybe I should come back to areas like this later on and update anything I'm not happy with. Let me know if you'd like to see that, or for me to keep it the same so you can see the progress in my skills develop. Now that I was forming the queue line, I kept in mind that the previous construction of the ride going down the rocks, that I wanted that to be a key focal point throughout this queue line construction. The queue mainly consisted of a cattle pen, however, unlike most cattle pen queues, this one would have great theming to boot. The entrance of the coaster would have stone Vikings holding the sign up, and another Viking would display the queue time, and this was eventually the result. In terms of queue line theming now, I ended up choosing to have the mechanical horse or whatever this creature's called, and just some fauna around it to keep it simple for this part of the queue line here. Like I've said, I am quite a fan of the Viking scenery pieces that Frontier have given us. But for the rest of this episode, we will be working on the other ride in this area, but first I had to plan out the remaining path for this plot of land. And to reveal the flat ride in the area, this would be a KMG afterburner. I love these flat rides as they are relatively thrilling, yet they take up a fairly small plot of land as well. This would also sort of double up as a centrepiece in the middle of this pathway. The colour scheme of brown and grey also helped to blend this into the Viking aesthetic. However, for the arms of the ride itself, I wanted to put logs over them to really theme it up to its highest potential. And you can now see me attempting to attach these logs on now, while also trying to make sure the ride carriage itself does not come into contact with it. If this was possible in the real world, I would love to see Vortex at Thorpe Park try and do something like this, as that would be quite a spectacle. I mean, we've seen flat rides with amazing theming. I mean, look at Talakan at Phantasialand. However, this is all of course if it was actually possible, and I'm not fully sure on whether or not it's actually realistic. Trying to angle these was a really time-consuming aspect of construction, and trying to repeat this 4 times for each column definitely felt like a chore at one point during this construction. I do feel like this is why I don't dare attempt custom supporting coasters, as that would probably make me crash out in more ways than one. But, you know me, I will make sure that you guys get the best theme park at the end of the project. As much as this does mask the colour scheme for the ride, I very much prefer this to the actual base of the flat ride itself. Anyway, after the logs were finally installed, I went back to fencing off areas of this themed area. To To begin this fencing, I fenced off the area from the entrance of Ragnarok to Odin's entrance. As I have probably stated many times before, fencing may seem very boring and tedious, but you must remember it is a necessity to any theme park that you go to. But to carry this fencing on after reaching the Odin queue line, I started on the other side of the entrance all the way to the exit of the station for our Gravity Group wooden roller coaster with a placeholder name of Odin. To finalise the projects for this episode, I added a bit more paving for another area coming up in the future, so make sure you stay tuned for that. Then it was just a simply matter of placing what would become the entrance for the KMG Afterburner, with the name Mjolnir. This would be relatively simple though, and I made sure to reuse the sign from the original 2 flat rides. And thus concludes the end of episode 3. I know, it's been over so soon. Thank you all so much for watching this episode. I hope you've enjoyed it, I've enjoyed making it. And if you want to see more, make sure to subscribe. I have a Thought Park vlog coming very soon, so I hope you all enjoy that too. See you then. Bye everyone.